Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to week number 5 of RSF1's weekly podcast. Here at RSF1, we do league racing, for those that don't know, and this is just a recap of what went on in the weeks of racing, and boy, it was a interesting week. My name is RSF1 Brundle, and I am joined, as ever, by RSF1 Verstappen. So, good evening, Mr. Verstappen, also known as Ben. So if I call him Ben, then you know why. Good evening, Ben.
Evening, Mr. Brundle, also known as Michael.
Yes, I should have mentioned that as well. How are we doing after this week? It was a busy week, especially for us two, because we did double duty, both of us. Streamed and commed. But it was good. It was some entertaining races. A lot more dramatic than what I expected it to be.
Yeah, the races were all good for all 5 tiers, and my throat has only just recovered recently after the exciting spectacle of especially F3 and F4 to commentate on.
I'm not surprised, considering you were screaming for like... Well, we get to the one that you screamed a lot.
It was entertaining, that's all that matters.
Yeah. That's all that matters. Yes, hopefully you guys watching will be informed correctly. Ben has the stream up. I don't have the stream up, but Ben does. So if any comments of the stream, any questions at all, picture quality, audio quality checks would be good as well. Background footage for the time being is just me time trialing, so you just have something to look at. Why did I do it in a Red Bull? I'm still questioning that. I know, track extended all over the place. They weren't my best laps, but who cares? Who cares?
Sandbagging in the comments are incoming.
Yeah, I know. Especially, I don't think I hit the gravel once, so can't have that meme, can we? Yeah. So running through tonight, should be an hour-long show, but obviously if it goes over an hour, don't blame us. There's a lot to talk about. So we're starting off with the race recaps. Obviously starting off with F2 first, then F4, F1, F5, and then F3 will be last but not least, of course. Then we have afterwards a little segment from one of our beloved team members in RSF1. All will become clear, and hopefully you can enjoy that. And then if we have time at the end, we're going to be looking at our next track, which is Monaco. Ooh.
Best track on the grid.
Debatable. Very debatable. Yeah, should we get things underway, Ben?
Indeed.
That's my word, alright? You need to think up of your own word.
Frontline speed, there's my phrase.
Those are several words. You need one word, and that's it. Anyway, right, let's begin. F2, of course, kick things off as it always seems to do, as it always does, on the Sunday night. Did you happen to watch this race, Ben?
As ever, I always miss the second part due to work, but from what I saw, it was a very eventful race.
Yes, it certainly was. F2 is always, not saying that all the others aren't competitive, but of course, me racing in it, I would say that it is. But you know, I am neutral, of course, as always. So, 16 raced today. Oh, not today. On the Sunday. Jeez, I'm messing up my words already. Yes, 16 raced on the Sunday, and it was a very close qualifying session, a very competitive qualifying session. The times were definitely a lot more quicker than what I expected, even racing in it. But it was a 17-4 for pole position, set by RSF1 Massa, who took his first pole, I believe, of the season. And he's really coming through, Massa, isn't he, Ben? Has been involved in an instance the first couple of weeks, but coming through, he's now, I think, a genuine contender, especially after this week, a genuine contender in F2 now.
Yeah, I mean, not just him. You can name 7 or 8 people. Just it bounces back and forward really with results and luck and momentum through that tier especially. So yeah, still to play for. Not even halfway through the season yet.
Of course. And obviously he's bringing the points in for Haas, which is always good. Obviously they've had a good start to the season in combined constructors, so obviously they're very happy to have him. But it was Massa on pole, as I said, and he controlled the early stages of the race. Behind him was Dean, RSF1 Dean, I believe it's called. Letters before his name. He had a great debut race, to be honest. Was right on pace. He was my teammate for the evening. I believe he has a full-time drive now at Williams. And yeah, he shows some really good promise. Nothing negative of his performance in F2. So yeah, he should be one to watch. And he was, as I said, right on pace already. But Massa led the early stages with Dean behind him. And behind them was the battling Schumacher and Shane for third and fourth. I had a decent race actually, or decent start to the race. I was outside the top 10, started 11th, but fresh tyres really helped my surge up to about 5th, I think, before the first stops. And that was a thing also as well, Ben, wasn't it? Tyre wear around this track is pretty harsh, but anybody that started outside the top 10, if they had good consistent pace on fresh tyres, they were the ones to watch, weren't they? Because there were a few this week that did the same.
Yeah, I mean, across all tiers, people on fresh tyres outside the top 10, the majority of them managed to claw their way back up the field and brought some good, interest and entertaining racing. So, yeah, good battles all around.
Good evening, God's my slave in the chat there. Bit waving lady emoji. I don't even know what that emoji is meant to be, but
lady emoji, did you just say?
A waving lady emoji, yes.
Oh god.
That's what I think it is, Anyway, good evening. Karun, that is. Roberts, good evening as well. I have no idea what that emoji is. I'm not even gonna... No, stop being distracted by emojis. Yeah, so... I had a good start to the race, up to about 5th. But yeah, fresh tyres was really good, basically. But getting through the midfield, in every tier is really, really close, and it's difficult to get through if you have a bad qualifying. So that's what makes this league all competitive. So, but after the pit stops had come through, it was kind of not a quiet race, but a sort of controlled race. Nothing really exciting happening. Battles all across the field, of course, as they always are. But Massa led after the stops with Dean behind him. Schumacher and Shane still battling. And then it was me and Ioaks who went through side by side after a few corners on the lap. And again, this race carried on through. Tabitsi actually went long on the hard tyres. He also, I believe, started outside the top 10. And when he pitted for mediums, he was behind me in 6th, I believe, and closing me down. And I think he would have caught me until we had a safety car with 3 laps to go. Lap 30, this safety car came out when DRM Marco crashed in the pit lane. Easy to do, actually, but yeah, that brought out the safety car, and unfortunately that wrecked Dean's race, because he was on for a second place, it seemed, because all the gaps are stabilised. But the safety car came out and he sped under the safety car twice, even though it said on the Delta that he wasn't. So yeah, that just shows, Ben, safety cars in this, it can help you, but it can also not help you. It's just wrong place at the wrong time for him, but I'm sure he can put it to one side, and as I said, I'm sure he will be a threat moving forward.
That's the beauty of safety cars, I guess, in league racing, Michael.
I would definitely think it was the right call to bring the safety car in. Would you necessarily agree with me? Because obviously the first couple of races we didn't have it in, now we do.
Oh yeah,
was the right call?
Great call. Perfect.
Yeah, I agreed that as well. Just checking that you agreed as well. So, good stuff. It definitely puts spices into the races, even though I do think it's a little bit more trigger happy than it was previously. Because before it was coming out for stupid reasons, now it comes out for almost everything.
It creates more drama, so it's good.
Yeah, expect a lot more, especially this week in Monaco. Jesus. Safety car came out that 30, and it was a weird one because there was still 10 racing, I believe, 10, 11 racing. Only half the grid got, or half the pack got formed up behind the safety car before it went again. I was in 6th at the time, and I was still 4 corners back, and the safety car went away. So yeah, it was definitely a weird one. But because of Dean's penalties, that unfortunately dropped him way outside the points. Then he finished last, actually. But he was out of it. But after the safety car, Massa controlled the race throughout and took the race victory ahead of Shane. Schumacher was third, continuing his consistent form to the beginning of the season. I was fourth, with JSL fifth. Sainz was 6th, Mokuba Bates 7th, Tabitsi was 8th, Man with the Cash 9th, and I forgot to hoover it down on 10th. So there's me
very
prepared.
organised.
Very organised, but yeah, unfortunately Dean was outside the points in that. But yeah, good solid starts all round from a few competitors. As you said at the beginning when we started talking about F2, there's so many race winners in it, isn't there? There's a good half the grid, possibly more, that can win races. And still anyone's game, although Schumacher the early favourite, I would say, but a lot can still change.
Yeah, before I answer that, your answer to the previous question was Tomek Bresner was in 10th, I think. Roberts has just put in the chat.
Oh yeah, thank you, Roberts.
Yeah, F2 is, as I said many times before the season even started, looking at the provisional driver list in F2. As you said, there's probably at least 8 to 12 drivers that come in a race. Just got to be there at it on your day, and there's constant changes throughout each race. The standings change, constructors change, so very close in that team.
Yeah, it's very close. Yeah, so far so good in F2. And of course, they will kick things off once again round of Monaco, which I believe is a night race because they voted 11 votes to 7 in the vote, which I believe every tier got to decide whether it's going to be a day or night race. So F2 decided night race. There we go. They will kick things off tomorrow night, 8 o'clock. So there we go. So heading forward into F4. 18 viewers, by the way, at the moment. So thank you very much. Obviously, any comments you want to say about your week, how it happened, any questions you have, then please put them in the stream. We've got V Reefer in there. Evo, who I don't think I've seen before. Roberts, Tomo as well. So good evening to all. Moving on to F4, which... boy, where do we start with F4, Ben? Goodness. It was... F4 is bubbling away very nicely, I must say, for me commentating on it. It's... story of the championship is kind of a relatively simple one. Cuddy is dominating at the moment, or... obviously no spoilers going into the result, if anyone hasn't seen, but obviously coming into Spain he was... comfortably leading, but he had his teammate right behind, Quaker Oats in the Red Bull, so they've had a good strong start to the season. But the races have been full of drama, and this was no exception, Ben, as you joined me in the comms box. It was, yeah, 2 safety cars, including one right towards the end, which has leveled the playing field, which is the beauty of having a safety car, I guess. It's the one positive of it. And it was just battles all over the place, wasn't it? It was tough to read who was going to be in those podium spots.
Yeah, I mean, you had 4 or 5 drivers at the front at the start, pulled away. The safety car just brought it all back up, different strategies, switches, changes, battling. And then the final safety car, which I did indeed call before the stream started and during the stream. And then that changed the order up completely, and people didn't know whether to stick or twist with the strategy changes. Did they sacrifice position on the grid? It was, yeah, and then those last 6-7 laps were constantly. There was always something to watch, which was good for spectators and streamers.
Yeah, was very good. I've got my notes down and I'm trying to minimise them best I can. But 18 race, so good field turned out. Kid Cudi got his 4th pole out of 5 races with a 17.9, so a very good lap from Cudi himself. Definitely a good qualifier. When he's at the front, that's when he's the most dangerous, I feel, with this tier. So the question still remains for me, Ben, as whether, say, like he has like a qualifying outside the top 10, you know, Monaco this week could be the turning point. You know, he could crash in Q1. You have to start from the back, and what would he do? Can he, you know, pick up points from that position? The question still remains. But at the front, still dangerous. Lap 1. Now, last week in Baku, F4 did the very good thing of not having a single person go into the pits or crash on the first lap. I think they were the only tier, actually, that didn't have a safety car from the first lap, which, you know, I congratulated. And it looked as if they were going to do the same thing until turn 4, when about 3 or 4 cars, which included Koala, I think Junior got caught up in it, Raikkonen as well. I think they were going about 3-4 wide out of turn 4 then, and it was just, yeah, it was a good start until then. But at least they got through turn 1, 2, and 3 unscathed until that point.
Yeah, that was just. I have no words for that, really. That was just chaotic, typical league racing at its finest, shall we say?
Yeah. As I said, obviously with most of them going 2-3 wide, it was almost inevitable that was going to happen. There was no offence to them, just the way it happened. But yeah, so Cudi led from Quaker Oats. The Rebels had a good solid start. Behind them was Connaughton, actually, who was obviously making his debut from F5, because he used to be in F5, moved into F4. Done himself very well, actually, especially in qualifying. Was very close with the Red Bulls. Just got beaten by Cudi to pole. So yeah, good stuff from him. First safety car came out on lap 2 when Blazer Guns crashed at turn 2, which is very easy to do, Ben, isn't it? Because that inside curb, as my car conveniently goes through it as I talk about that. See, the timing is great. If you clip that curb on the inside too much, or you can run over it, as I discovered. I didn't realise this before this week. You can go straight over it, but if you go over it wrong, it can spit your car sideways, and you're just a passenger sometimes into the wall. And that's unfortunately what Blazer had through turn 2.
Yeah, I mean, there was commiserations for Blazer. Saw that on stream, and yeah, that's what happens when you push too hard or coming at the wrong angle. Certain corners, the track punishes you.
Yeah, what happens when you're pushing the limit? Also shows as well, because obviously he won last week, Blazer Guns. Also shows how easily it can change. One mistake and you go from winning last week to no points this week. So, and I'm sure he's back. Apparently he's quite confident about Monaco, so Blazer Guns may return in a blaze of glory. See what I did there?
Oh god.
Yeah, that was terrible.
End the stream now.
I apologise. Yeah, so yeah, he crashed at turn 2. Safety car came out lap 2. Not many people pitted. I don't think anybody actually pitted under that safety car. It was just a normality. But Cudi pulled away. He had Quaker Oats, Connor, and Daniel P45, who was having a strong race in the Haas at that point. And the pit stops came and went, and both Red Bulls still led. Connor chasing them all the way. It looked as if Quaker was kind of holding back Connor a little bit, wasn't he, Ben? Or that's what I felt. The first stint, certainly, just allowed Cuddy to kind of control the pace from where he was. Lovely position to be in, but of course difficult to do.
Yeah, those two are having a great battle. Cuddy, as you know, is one of the front runners in F4, and Connor and Quaker were just constantly battling. It was great to watch, I guess.
Yeah, after the pit stops, it was Cuddy from Quaker, Connor, and then Daniel was still having a good strong race. Tomiko in the Toro Rosso was 5th, and Scotsman was behind in 6th. And the race kind of quietened down. Again, there was battles all over the place. There was an interesting battle between Junior and Primus, and of course they had their history in China, which is the only time we're going to mention. But that was interesting for me and you, because we knew about that. But yeah, there were battles all the way through. On lap 20 though, the breakthrough for Connor, because Quaker spun on turn 9, that fast right hand at the top of the hill, on lap 20, and all of a sudden Connor was through. He was unleashed to catch Cuddy. Well, that's what I thought. But yeah, Cuddy was just controlling the pace. But Connor was through into 2nd, and Quaker dropped behind the battling 2 Haas drivers of Daniel and Scotsman and Tomiko in the Toro Rosso. Then, safety car, lap 24. And there's also the scene where you'll have the most ultimate of commentators' curses, Mr. Ben. Because you said about 2 or 3 corners before this driver crashed to bring out the safety car that a safety car would be very tasty right now.
I never specified the driver. I specified only on the target of a safety car appearing, and it happened.
It was enough to say you wanted someone to do so, but there you go. Yeah, that 24, unfortunately Webber in the Mercedes crashed at turn 9. Once again, seemed to be tricky corner all week. Yeah, he unfortunately crashed. And that safety car meant that everybody from 7th downwards, so the top 6, which included Cuddy, Quaker, Connor, Daniel, Tomiko, Scotsman, and yeah, that is 6 of them. Yeah, they weren't able to pit. 7th downwards, which included Bodder. Both Alphas were brought back into the race, as was Junior and Primus. They all pitted for fresh tyres, and all of a sudden the advantage was with them. It was just the timing, really, of that safety car. Under that safety car, Junior spun at turn 2. Luckily, he managed to stay in the race. Unluckily, he got damaged, and he pitted for soft tyres. That ended up being a inspired call. Whether he was told to make that or did that himself, it was an inspired call, but we'll see why in a second, because once the safety car peeled into the pits, the battle commenced, because Cuddy and Connor drove away and had their own battle. Behind was a 8 to 9 car train, which consisted of Daniel, Scotsman, Bodder, Tom, Kachow, Primus, Raikkonen, and Junior, all battling for 3rd place, and hence begun the Verstappen screaming. Because you just, I lost count the amount of times it's like, let's go to the inside! What a move!
It was a good move!
That's my best impression of you. It was just, oh, brilliant. And for a while there, it was frantic, but it was clean then, wasn't it? And that's a hand clap to all those people that involved for 3rd place, because that I just lost count, really, to be honest. Great stuff to watch.
Yeah, that last ending was just stupendously good. As you said, there was loads of cars. They're all in a train, constantly thereabouts, trying to battle to get that podium. But in the end, it was a very, very close ending to the F4 race.
Yeah, towards the didn't stop there either, because on the last lap, both Tom Eco and Connor Todd spun on the last lap. Connor was fortunate because he again spun at turn 2, seemed to be the problematic corner all race. He spun on turn 2 and was able to continue. Didn't have any damage. He dropped a position to Tom, but he eventually got him back because later in the lap Tom spun at turn 9. He wasn't as fortunate because the chasing pack, who were still battling, were close at that point, and he dropped outside the points, which was unfortunate for Tom because he was on for a good result. What it did bring was his teammate Bodder into a podium position, which is what he got. Brilliant stuff from Bodder, and he's just improving race by race, Ben, isn't he? Of course, he's on no assist for the first time. Just, yeah, he's going to be a formidable one, but I'd say about halfway through now.
Yeah, he just needs to rack up the experience and finish races, the next 3 or 4 at least, just to get him that confidence and build it on for a charge at the end of the season, hopefully.
Yeah. But the order at the end of that chaotic race, but it was a very enjoyable race, of course, was Kid Cudi in the Red Bull winning, with Connor Todd in second in the Racing Point, his first race in F4. Bodder, as I said, his first podium of the season. I'm probably confident in saying it won't be his last. He was in third. Primus Gaming in the Mercedes was fourth. Junior somehow got fifth. I say somehow because he spun twice. He had damage on his front wing twice. And as I said, pitted on soft tyres, and he was in the right place at the right time. He was able to push when others were conserving their tyres towards the end, and he ended up in fifth place. Kachal and Raikkonen were, apart from Junior, probably the most fortunate of the safety car, because beforehand they were not in the race really. They were caught up in stuff, so they brought it back. They got good points from that. The ones that didn't benefit were both Haas drivers. They were on for like a third and a fifth. They dropped to 8th and 10th, with Quaker in between, also unfortunate in there. But as we said, safety cars benefit people but don't benefit others. Yeah, so far so good F4. Keep it up. My footage ends at the right time as well. Yay, start again. Moving on. So we move on to F1, and this is where I'll bring Mr. Ben into this, because you done the research for F1 and F3 this week. So F1's your first. Take it away.
Yes, so we had F1 on the Tuesday night, of course, following the F4 race. That spectacular race, as Brundles just broke down for you guys. Going into this F1 race on Tuesday around Spain, the likes of Karun, Skunk, Porsche and Dyslexic were the championship runners at the front, shall we say, at this moment in time, and there was a lot of us drivers trying to push as much as we could to try and claw our way back. And as qualifying showed, in Q3 we had RSF1 Karun on pole with the 117.2, followed by Skunk, who was 800ths off. I had myself in third, who I was gutted at the time. I thought I should have got pole. I locked up a couple of times. I wasn't happy, but nonetheless I got a 17.4 in third. We had another championship challenger in RSF1 Hush in fourth for the Ferrari. Ozza in fifth for Red Bull. Devil, my teammate in McLaren, doing a good job in sixth. Lando in the Toro Rosso, of course, doing a good job for you there, Rebster, combined constructors. And No Shells Racing Point in 8th, AMS Vettel 9th for the Alfa Romeo Racing Team, and rounding out the top 10 in quali was AMS Eastern in the Red Bull. So then the race. Before I go into the race, Mr. Brundle, is anything you would like to say about the race, watching it as a spectator?
It was good. I'm trying to think of the result actually, because there was so many races we did, but and I watched every race. Obviously, I commentated on 2 of them. So, but no, it was very entertaining. Always is in F1. They, after last season, not to drop too much into it, and not to beat around the bush about the fact, but they had a few issues from last season. The driving at points wasn't as good. The battles what was good. I mean, they were good. Don't get me wrong, but there were too many incidents basically behind the scenes. This season, I think they have improved. Quite a lot. I'm trying to say this in a kind way. The racing and the side by side battling, is exactly what we want the F1 to be. We know they're quick, or quicker than others, but obviously we wanted the racing to be there, and I think this season, definitely, I'm intrigued. I still can't call it. Like every tier, still can't call it. Hope it carries on. It was very good, and this race was no exception.
Yeah, as you said, let's hope this carries on with the good momentum F1 are showing for the league. In the race, we had a couple of guys outside the top 10 who wouldn't normally be there. We had Mr. Pigeon Munch, Dyslexic, and Gary. They all started outside the top 10, looking to go long in the first stint and hopefully catch at the end. Some good points. Initially at the start, first into the race, Karoon was slightly ahead of Skunk and Unity and myself. Of course, I like to bottle it now and then, although I have improved since last season. Still managed to claw my way back somehow. And then Karoon just commanded from there and all the way to the end, and he managed to win for the Haas team, starting on pole, wrapped it up with a race win. RSF1 Hush got second, and rounding off the top three on the podium was Mr. Pigeon Munch, who started 11th. So good drive from him. We had Devil, my teammate, in the McLaren, finished 4th. RSF1 Dyslexic, another championship contender, started 14th and got up to 5th. Gary in the Haas 6th, myself 7th, Hakkinen 8th in the Racing Point, who started 16th, so another good comeback drive there. Skunk, who had a disappointing start to the Spanish Grand Prix, but like myself clawed it back, got 9th for the Alfa Romeo team. And last position in the points was RSF1 Lando in the Toro Rosso team. In that race, like F4, well, not to the extreme levels of the ending, shall we say, of Brundle. The racing was good. A couple of incidents now and then, but that's what you get. Lots of strategies taking place. Lots of DRS trains I'd noticed in the race to try and pull away. And while that was all going on, Karoon just thought, you know what, I'll just take it slow at the front and command the race from there. Any thoughts and reactions on the ending there, Brundle, for F1?
Man with the cash. Nice quote in the chat there. It's hard racing at the top of the food chain in F1. So many dogs eating dogs.
Cheers.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Thank you, Cash. Yeah, I remember Skunkburner. He had a rare mistake actually. His first few weeks, he's been always there, battling with what seemed to be the early type contenders of Unity, Karoon, and Dyslexic. There are others there, but these are obviously the early contenders. Still a long way to go. That could obviously change. But he's been my surprise, because I knew he'd be there. I just didn't think he'd be battling for race wins with these other three. So yeah, he had a rare mistake. I believe it's the edge of turn 4, spun it into the wall. Lucky to keep going, because he got damaged, and of course, we all know, could have easily retired on the spot, losing the wheel. But yeah, as you said, he got the points, which was always good. When things don't go your way, you'll get points back, and really good stuff. It'll be interesting to see what happens in Monaco, because like all tiers, it's a joker track for me. I think any result can happen. Even you, Ben, if you weren't as confident in Monaco, you can win. anybody can win in any tier at any point around Monaco, so be interesting to see.
Yeah, we shall see. Moving on to F5, Mr. Brundle.
Yeah, so F5, once again, continuing their good storytelling in the championship, it's always what we like as a viewer. But 18 raced, and pole position went to the relatively new Lynx Max in the Williams, doing a good job for the team in F5 at this time. And he led from the start, pretty much followed the trend of Massa in F2 and Cuddy in F4 and even Karun in F1. The leaders of these races kind of controlled the pace from the beginning. Some went on to win, others did not, but yeah, they controlled from the start. Lynx led from Alonso, who had a very good qualifying or beginning to the race. Started on hard tyres, which I at the time didn't think was the correct call, but started off well and he was into second. And he was followed by Kazi and Rebster behind. And that was the case until, unfortunately, on lap 6 there was an incident between Rebster and Alonso, both spinning on turn 2, which affected both their races. But they carried on, and until a safety car on lap 8 came out, which kind of changed the way, obviously as the safety car does, the way people think about their strategies. Do they pit on tyres or not? Kazi was the most interesting one, because he, the leaders, pitted onto hard tyres and intending to go to the end from there. Interestingly, Lynx Max did not pit from the lead, so he carried on. And after the pit stops, the early stop from Kazi meant he led the race. But the question was his tyres going to last? Behind Kazi was Timonik, RSF1 Button, and Lynx Max, when he pitted, ended up in about 4th or 5th place. Did you watch this race, Ben? And did you question Kazi's pit stop? Could those tyres go to the end?
I managed to watch some of the race. I heard what happened with Kazi. Touch and go, I'd say. I didn't think he wanted to risk it, to be honest.
No, but it was 25 laps in the end that he did, and that began to tell, because Lynx Max obviously pitted later than everybody else on the hard tyre. Started to come up through the field from 5th, past Button, Timonik, and then with about 5 laps to go, I believe he was into 2nd, and he had a 12-second gap to catch in about 5-6 laps. He ended up doing it, so he was within DRS on the last corner on the last lap, and ended up just coming up behind Kazi in the end. 0.045 of a second. I believe the closest gap from 1st to 2nd in RSF1. I could be corrected, but I believe it is. Great stuff. Dramatic start on the last lap. The gamble in the end, Ben, for Kazi pulled off, actually.
Just about, yeah. I think it was recorded as 0.045 seconds ahead.
Yeah.
Second place.
Yeah, he was. It was a good battle in the end, and it was brilliantly called by Raikkonen, because there definitely was drama. But Kazi ended up winning a good points haul for Renault. I'm sure Shane was biting his fingernails for that, because it was very tense. Lynx Matt, still a very good result from him. Relatively new to F5, still going on strong in 2nd place. Timonik, the meme king himself, was in 3rd place in the Racing Point. He's had a difficult run of results lately, last couple of weeks. Brought it back in 3rd place. RSF1 Eagle was in 4th in McLaren, with Jay Lockett in 5th. He went from 17th to 5th place, so very good job from him. RSF1 Butt was behind with Alonso in 7th, Lauda in 8th, Timmer in 9th for the Toro Rosso, and the new boy GSR Callum rounded up the point score. So, like all tiers, still a long way to go with the F5 division. Still don't know who's really going to win. Of course, Lynx Max is looks good, especially in qualifying. So we'll see what they can continue doing.
Moving on to F3 now, wrapping up the week around Spain. Of course, like F1 and F2, well, pretty much all tiers to be honest, but especially F3, which I think on paper is the closest tier to watch for championship fight. Couple of drivers who were on the back foot, Stygian, Camo. Obviously, they're championship contenders as it stands, looking at the table and past results. They needed to bounce back after VRC Dan and the likes of Senna and Petronas, after their transfers across to F3, have really emerged and upped the pace and pressure towards them. Qualifying 3 for the F3 division, Salted Helmet out of nowhere pulled the lap out of a 17.7 for McLaren. Muddy Biscuit in the Haas got 18 flat in second. DPS in third for the Racing Point. Camo 4 for the Haas, rounding off a good qualifying for them. Top Notch in the leading Toro Rosso there in 5th. Alco in the other McLaren got 6th. RSF1 Petronas 7th for the Alfa Romeo team. RSF1 K-Mag got 8th for the Williams. CCRL Senna, aka Prince of Sand, got 9th for the Red Bull. And it's also his birthday today. May I say happy birthday to him once again. Enjoy your
I was going to mention that.
Enjoy your Chinese fiesta, shall we say. And 10th in the Toro Rosso was Eyes the Best. Now, moving into the race, before I go into more detail, Brundle, as I said, question for F1 to you. Your thoughts on the F3 race in general?
Another chaotic one. It was interesting results. I do obviously happy birthday to Senna. Hopefully he's enjoying his day and his evening. A difficult one for Senna because he went into it full of optimism. He was very confident about the race. Hello?
We've seemed to lost Mr. Brundle. Where has he gone?
My controller signed. and touched my controller for a while because it signed itself off.
You prat. What's he doing? Rookie mistake.
He had went into the evening full of optimism because he was very quick, and in practice he was very quick. Didn't get the lap. I believe he had a mistake through turn 10 and his qualifying, so he should have qualified higher. He would have qualified higher, and but F3, as you said, very, very close title fight. I think it's the closest out of all the tiers, apart from maybe F5. Impossible to call because drivers that have a bad week one week, they then have a good week next. So, yeah, again, like everyone else, please continue F3.
Yeah, F3 was once again very good to commentate on. We had, like F1, 3 or 4 drivers outside the top 10 who again pulled their way through up the fields and managed to get some good points. We had safety cars, crashes, cars going 3 wide in corners that didn't know could happen and not crash, which was very good to see. We had lockups, massive crashes near the end of the race after the final safety car. And then through all of that chaos, we had VRC Dan, who took the win for Renault, starting 12th. So he is really showing why he is one of the favourites to win the F3 title as it stands. Then we had Camo second in the Haas, started 4th, so another good drive from him after a couple of shaky results for him. Then we had Petronas in 3rd, who he won't mind me saying this, but I did not expect him to get third, considering the way that race panned out. So well done to him. We had Salted Helmet, the pole position man, who I could say, and he could probably say as well, made a mistake on his by staying out and not pitting again, but still got 4th place nonetheless. So good drive from him. Then we got the other Haas in 5th, Muddy Biscuit. Great drive from him. And then we had Falcon in 6th, started from 16th on the grid for the Mercedes, so good drive from him. Then we had K-Mag, who moved 1 position up from his qualifying performance in 7th. Alco in the other McLaren got 8th. Old Manzi from 11th to 9th in the Racing Point, good from him. And rounding out the top 10 was Dangerous Dan in the Alfa Romeo team, who started 14th, so another good drive from him. There you go, all rounded off.
Thank you very much. Yep. Definitely a pleasant week in RSF1, full of drama, full of intrigue. The stories keep telling their interesting championship stories, don't they, Ben? Yeah, so far so good.
It's hotting up, shall we say.
Hotting up, boiling away like a cauldron. I like it. Right, so that went on a little bit longer than I wanted it to, but hey ho, it's fine. So, with that out of the way, going to this new little thing that we're doing right now. So, so for those watching, this may sound a little bit different, a little bit out there, but I'm pretty sure you enjoy it. So, let's prepare. So, it's been a lovely start to the season of RSF1, and we wanted to have a little bit more intrigue, a little bit more detail into the drivers and the teams and what they get up to. So, introducing to our team, and I believe he's live at the Spanish Grand Prix, the Circuit de Catalunya in Barcelona right now, as the teams pack away for their trips to Monaco, which start tomorrow. So I believe you're coming through nicely. I hope the picture's all right. Rebster, good evening to you. How's it going down there in Spain?
Yes, good evening. It's all very good here in Spain. Just let me walk away from this pit lane a little bit. Good evening, Bundles and Verstappen.
Good evening.
How the devil are we?
Glad.
It's been a bit quiet here in the pit lane today. There's a few cars still doing bits and bobs. As I walked in, I can let you know now, I'm not sure if Williams will be taking part in Monaco due to a slight accident.
Oh well. Oh, this is breaking news, actually. Yeah, what seems to be the problem?
Well, as you know, they're very tight up for cash this year and can't afford spares. And I trod on the front aero of the nose cone of their car on the way into the pit lane.
Oh
so
dear.
I think we can be expecting a hefty bill and no pay for the rest of us for the rest of the season. But I'm not fazed by that, so let's carry on, shall we? So at the moment, I am stood outside of Mercedes. It's pretty quiet here at the moment, but I'm sure if I just have a little wander in here, there will be somebody about, so let's have a little look. I can hear somebody out the back. Hello? Anybody there? They're hiding. It's okay. There is somebody there. And just look who I found. It's RSF1 Dyslexic.
Hello, mate.
Hello, mate. How you doing?
I'm not too bad.
Good. Good week for you, I understand.
It wasn't too bad. And Spain wasn't too bad.
Oh, good. I'm glad to hear that. Still a little bit of testing. Well, I don't know whether they're testing or just wrapping it up to get round to get into the lorries. So yeah, Spain, mate. Do you want to just run through your race a little bit? Give us a little bit of insight.
Some people might have seen that my AI sadly decided to murder itself in Q1. So I started from 14th place, and yeah, just relied on my race pace to make some overtakes and get a good result out of it as I needed to, because I'd think I've fallen down to like third in championship.
And you managed to pull it back a little bit, I understand.
Yeah, I mean I got fifth, but I probably could have been on the podium if I didn't decide to change my brake bias to all the way to the rear and spin out on lap 3.
Well, you will drive more carefully in Monaco, I can be assured, because if you manage to do that there, you won't be bringing it back home, will you, mate?
It's all guns blazing for Monaco.
That's the way it has to be. So, you know, it's a stressful week leading up to the Grand Prix, and a little birdie told me that you enjoy a little bit of light reading. Just to finish the interview off, you enjoy a little bit of light reading when you're in your spare time. Is that right?
Don't think that's right, mate.
Well, we won't be able to broadcast what sort of material you're reading then, because that sounded a little bit like top shelf stuff to me. So we'll leave that one there. We can't go on with that. Dyslexic, mate, all the best for the rest of the season. Thank you for coming out and seeing me. I know you didn't need to, but yeah, it's good to see you. If you get stuck,
problem, mate.
if you get stuck from Monaco, mate, I'm quite willing to give you a lift on the back of my mountain bike. It's got 21 speed, so we'll get there pretty quick, mate, and ready in time for the race.
Cheers,
give me a shout, pick me up.
Cheers, mate.
All right, bud. I'll let you get on, mate, because I've got to do the rest of this pit. Cheers, mate.
Thank you, mate.
And I'll catch you later. Take care.
See you, mate.
Right, guys. So let's. Should we have a walk down the pits?
Yes, that's very, very exclusive stuff. Talking to one of the drivers there. Well done, Revs. A good job.
Mate, after Williams chased me halfway around the circuit, I didn't think I was going to get to talk to anybody, but that was lucky, so and that's cool. So, yeah, we're at the Mercedes garage, and unfortunately for them, bottom of constructors at the moment, with the information we have, I don't think it's been updated to real time yet, but we've got Mercedes is on 120 points. Quite a successful week I think they've had this week. Listening to Dyslexic there.
Yeah, very successful week. Obviously they're still trying to keep going with the points, bringing in the points. The drivers are turning up, which is always the good thing, because sometimes the drivers get lost a little bit, and they don't turn up to the races. But all the drivers do turn up, and which is always the biggest first step. I'm sure they won't be last constructors for long. I'm sure they will start creeping up.
Cyril, keep that bloody camera cable away from me. I mean it. If I trip over it again, mate, I'm going to wrap it down in the bloody neck. Right, I'm just getting into, I'm just about next door at Racing Point now, mate. Racing Point, second to last at the moment in the constructors, 125 points. Yeah, what info can you give us on that?
Well, I seem to be quite noisy there, but of course we will continue. Yeah, obviously difficult start for Racing Point. Yeah, they had a really tough week about a few weeks ago. In I believe Bahrain, I believe they only brought home 2 points the entire week, which was difficult. But then another team did that the week after, so they can go through difficult times. I do have a little bit of an interesting question for you. I believe you have a son that is racing in the league, and he's racing in the Racing Point. How's he finding the car at the moment? Have you had a chance to speak to him lately?
Not only have I had a chance to speak to him lately, but I've actually driven the car myself.
Ah,
And,
how did you find it? Must have been an experience.
It's a very nice experience, actually. It's quite a nice planted car. Junior's enjoying it. I think he misjudges how wide it is at times by the look of things, but that's just a little wind up. No, he's finding it a solid little car. It is a planted car, to be honest. Yeah, he's enjoying it.
Yeah, very good stuff. Yeah, had a good race as we heard when we went to F4. Had a good race today. I presume you were cheering him on from on the side of the track.
Absolutely, I was. Yes, mate. Well, it was upstairs in the bar actually, but yes, I was there cheering him on.
You're not meant to be drinking on the job, Rest. So how many times have I got to tell you that?
It was my night off.
Oh, okay. Okay,
right.
yes, yeah. You're that is in your contract. So yeah, I forget that sometimes. So
Yeah, and you forget I don't drink anymore, mate.
oh yeah,
I don't
of
drink
course.
any less either.
Yeah.
Right, now this next garage, I don't know if I want to go there, mate. Don't throw that at me, Claire. I mean it, alright? I've got to do this interview. I'm sorry, just don't throw it. Right, I'm at Williams, and they are 7th, 8th in the Constructors' Championships with 130. I've got to keep my eyes about me here because I'm ducking everywhere. There's people threatening me and everything, yeah. 133 points, so we'll get a move on with this one, please.
Yeah, of course. Actually, very good week for Williams. Obviously, Lynx Max, their driver in F5, brought home a very good result. So really, they should be in a better spirits than threatening you. But no, they're picking up good wins here and there. So again, like Racing Point, they're not going to be down in the constructors for long. At Williams there.
Awesome. Is his hand controller gone again?
No, still here.
All right, cool. And I'll tell you one thing that's been really good this week at Spain, all the new cars. You're going to love them, guys. You're going to love them. But I'm not saying that. I'm guessing you've all been watching a certain sports channel that have been televising it. It's been great.
Yeah, testing
okay.
and all that. Yeah.
Oh, them cars look lush. Right, McLaren are 7th in the constructors. It's all shut up. They've gone. It is like a graveyard outside their garage. But we'll go for it. 139 points. 7th.
Yeah, good stuff from McLaren so far. Yeah, they're picking up points. I believe my reporter or my fellow sort of presenter here drives the McLaren Webster. Do you have any interesting questions for my partner here, Ben?
Yeah, what happened?
Well, next question.
Okay. What happened in the bit before just that bit? I'm only joking.
Well, yeah. Next question again.
You're like a politician.
Nice car, I thought, actually. McLaren drove it, I think, when it first got its new livery. I enjoyed it. You're not enjoying it, Ben, or?
Bloody hate the car. Get me out of here.
Oh.
Get me back in F2.
I
don't like these
apologise
F1
for any
cars.
swearing on this channel.
I'm going by.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. But yeah, good.
Okay, so there we are. Yes, 739 points. Toro Rosso, middle of the field, really, pretty much 6th.
Ah, yes.
170 points.
Yes.
I knew you'd jump in on that one.
Yes. I'm hearing actually there's a real good sort of family vibe around this team. It's a real tight unit. Taurus, or so I'm hearing, Rebs. Am I correct in saying that?
There is a good vibe in the Toro Rosso garage. I can say that straight from my heart. We all sit down and cry together every week when people crash out in our team and we don't get the points that we want, and we do it as a team, literally. But no, we've had some good results coming up. I had a mare of a race this week, Spain, but we'll just move on from that and get on with next week at Monaco and see if we can make it better. Yeah, no, it is quite tight. We're all good. We all engineer each other and wish each other the best and all that sort of thing. So yeah, it's good.
Oh, I bet you bet the roof was almost lifted off the Toro Rosso garage when Bodo came home in third place for your team.
Mate, what a star, considering that he's on no traction, new wheel. He's got his new base and his new wheel, so he's just got the TM wheelbase and the servo one and the Busmaster open wheel, and he's loving life with it at the moment. It's just filled him with confidence again.
I would like to say
yeah.
would like to say that other wheel makers are available. You know, we're not. We can't really say brands on this, Repsa. Just I'm checking out. Others are available.
Others are available, and next week instalment 2 of a brand of wheel you can get. No, if you're all right, I won't mention it again. They'll all get a shout out, then they can't say anything. No, I'm only taking.
Yeah.
I didn't know we couldn't say anything. It should be all right.
Yeah, it should be all right. You know,
Personal preference. Because it's advertising on live TV. Of course. Oh no. Right, moving on now to the next, and I'm not going to say it. The Prancing Horse. Quite a big jump.
Oh come on! It's my favourite team.
There you go. I just said it. Didn't get drowned out, did it?
No. That's all good.
That's all right then. Yeah, Ferrari, 250 points. 5th in the constructors. I know certain. What's his name drives for him?
Unity.
No. Who's the other one? F5 driver. Oh God.
F5 driver. Louder.
F5 driver.
Yeah, F5 is Louder and Cosmic Cameron.
F5 driver.
That is F5 driver, unless my information is wrong.
Right. That goes straight over your head. So yeah, Louder.
Oh
Oh
God! You honestly didn't get that? Jesus Christ! Jesus
so
Christ!
in 5th, 250 points. They're having a steady time, I think, at the moment, aren't they? To be fair.
Yeah, steady time. Had a little bit of bad luck with safety cars with Dean. We had a reserve driver in F2. Tough result for him because he showed the pace. He's obviously been transferred off to Williams. I don't like Williams either, just as much as you do. But no, he had a difficult race. Could have brought home some really good points for Ferrari because Brundle had a good race as well. But yeah, they're pottering on quite nicely. Still there or thereabouts, which is always good to be.
Is he that corner cutting guy, that Brundle? I've heard in the paddock a lot of talk about him.
Yeah,
is he the corner cutting master? I've heard. Does he cut the grass as well at the back?
Okay, well, it's just starting to rain here now. That's not nice. So, right, just made it to Red Bull. Only 5 points in front of Ferrari. So they're up there. Yeah, all right, mate. Let me just finish this segment, and then I'll be off out of pit lane. I'm getting hurried up there, Rundle. So we'll need to move forward.
All right.
Yeah, 258 points, Red Bull.
Good. Yeah, good stuff. Obviously, slightly ahead of Ferrari. Hopefully, that will change soon. But yeah, difficult week for Red Bull. Although they had a good win in F4, so again, their spirit should be high going into Monaco.
Yeah, and here it is, the Banana Boat Garage. 261 points, the home of Renault's garage here. Moving up nicely, they are, aren't they? They're doing all right.
Yes, very good. Obviously, Shane had a good result in F2, as we were talking about. So they got a good team by the looks of it. And the Renault, of course, you got Kazi, who won in F5. So yeah, going along very nicely, aren't they, Ben?
They are, yeah, the flying banana boat.
I wasn't going to mention it too much because RSF1 Shane mentions it all the time that he can, so I was going to skip over that. Right, moving on. Right, here's a team that are doing well. I think they're really working hard together now. The Alfa Romeo Racing, 282 points, 6 points behind the leaders. Not bad.
Yes, very strong start from Alfa. Obviously, they have a good driver in Schumacher in F2, who is leading the championship in F2 at the time being. Had a good joint result in F4. Obviously, we were talking about. Yeah, all going very nicely. They seem to be a family team. They seem to be very, very much together. The viewers, whenever they watch the streams, are always saying Team Alpha and such, like the A team. So yeah, all very good stuff.
Excellent stuff. Yeah, they are working hard together, and it's showing. Which brings us on to our leaders at the moment. Haas. I don't know how you want to say it tonight, Bundle, so I kind of mix both of them up there together.
Arse.
Haas, 280.
No, we know
points.
you're an arse, but come on, let's be realistic now. Come on.
Cyril, get ready to leg it, mate. When we finish this segment, we're off. Otherwise, we're never going to get back.
Of course. Yeah, Haas, very good start to the season. Obviously, they got Karun in F1, who is bringing the fight in that championship. So, as well as obviously they could have had a good strong result in F4, but safety car didn't work, and obviously they had Nasser winning in F2. So again, good vibes from the Haas team.
Good vibes from the Haas. Well, and that's about the end of my pit lane tour. It's nice just to see these guys that are just, I don't know whether these are actual teams doing this or just like private drivers.
Could be. Sounds like an event going on now. So, thank you very much, Rebster. That's very good. And obviously now you're going to be heading off to Monaco our next week. Our first race is on tomorrow night, so it's not that far from Spain to Monaco, so I reckon you should be able to get there in time.
Get pedaling, boy.
Bloody way. It's a long way on a push bike, let me tell you. But I will try.
Thank you.
Better not have me in a tent this week, I can tell you.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Rebster. And make sure you don't break any more Williams front wings. And as you said, they don't have many left. They might not have any left after Monaco. So
I don't think they've got any left now, mate. So it's the one that's on the car, and that's it. But I did say to him I will bring some duct tape and tape the bit I broke back together in the colour of their wings, so it doesn't really notice.
Okay, fair enough.
That was quite a good gesture from me. Anyway, I'm off now, guys. I will catch you all later. Have a good week. See you at Monaco.
Thank you very much. Well, there you have it. Right, back to normality. yeah, hopefully everyone enjoyed that. That was a really good Revster with the audio. Thank you very much for that. Just a little bit heartedness, guys watching. Hopefully you enjoyed it. They certainly do in the chat. So yeah, thank you very much. Right, so we were going to talk about Monaco, but unfortunately I don't think we really have time. We've got 70 minutes already on this stream. But yeah, we're going to have a very quick look at the next track that we mentioned, which is the Monaco Grand Prix. What is one... If you can sum it up in one word to look forward to this week, then what would it be? If you can think of one.
Let's close it in style. The Principality of Death Row. There we go.
Ease. Yeah, I'm sure everybody's going to be concentrating very, very hard. Reefer says a disaster.
What, him or this?
The one word I said to describe this. Yeah, the walls are very close. I would be very surprised if every race doesn't get more than one safety car. Would that be a correct statement? And I don't think that's anything to do with the lack of incidents. I just think it's so easy to drop the car, and with the safety car and this game now being so trigger as it is, we're going for the record this week, 20.
We shall see.
Yeah. What you thinking your chances going into your F1 race on Tuesday, Ben? You looking forward to it?
Half an hour ago, no. 2 minutes ago, yes. Qualifying pace. I'm surprisingly with some of the front runners who I've practiced with. No, not giving anything away there, but who knows for the race? Anything can happen. So let's see what all the guys can do.
I tell you, my most as a league racer, my craziest race that I've ever been in was, I think it was in 2013. It was either 2012 or 2013. I was in an 18 car lobby, and it was a one-shot qualifying system, league way back. One-shot qualifying system. I quarter cut, turn 1. That's where it all began, way back in 2012. I quarter cut, turn 1, started at the back. So my frame of mind was stay at the back. I even let people through who were battling, because I thought, oh, I just don't want to be involved. And yeah, let's just trundle around. You never know. 18 started. How many do you reckon finished? Including myself. I did finish. But how many do you reckon finished? Out of
4.
18. 3.
Oh, you git.
3 finished. And I was a lap down of second. So, literally... And that's the most extreme case. And I'd be highly surprised if any... I wouldn't be too surprised, but I don't think it's going to be that extreme. But we have like less than 5 finishes, but you absolutely never know, Ben, so... Could be anything. But what it does show is, even if you're slow at Monaco, you don't give up, do you? Even if you're slow. Because you absolutely never know. Especially time in a safety car, keep your car intact. Who knows? You don't have to be quick around Monaco, you just need to survive. Basically, isn't it?
Only time will tell. Only time will tell for the races upcoming.
Also, even if you're quick at Monaco, doesn't necessarily mean you're going to win. That's another thing. But yeah, should be entertaining. I'm comfortable about tomorrow's race in F2, but I'm also knowing that it could very easily just end. My race could end at turn 1 on the first lap. I hope not, but yeah. Yeah, looking forward to it. And obviously, as I said at the start, this all kicks off tomorrow night with the F2 race at 8 o'clock. So yeah, should be entertaining. A night race for F2. I don't know what the others are. Although I believe your race is a day race in F1, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah, so there's that. So there could be some differences over the week and obviously we will see what those are. But yeah, F2 on the Sunday, F4 on the Monday, F1 on the Tuesday, F5 on the Wednesday, and F3 will round everything off on the Thursday. And then we've got to wrap everything off once again when we're back with the podcast on Saturday night, same time next week. Thank you very much for your company, Verstappen.
No problem.
Okay, and thank you for my guests, RSF1 Webster and Dyslexic. That was definitely a surprise for me as well. Yeah, hopefully you enjoyed this podcast, and from everyone here, have a great week. Best of luck to everyone involved. Keep it as clean as possible. We all know what Monaco's like. You can't win it from rash moves, but of course, yeah, just good luck and take care, and we'll see you next time.